Jaipur versus Hyderabad HellRaisers, and this is nothing short of an India-Pakistan cricket encounter. Especially the duo Devnath versus Shady has been a match to see from such a long time. And tonight they're going to be captaining each of their sides, ZDR Jaipur and Hyderabad HellRaisers. Also joining us from Bengaluru is Rathi FPV. Welcome, Rathi, to season 2, episode 4.
Always
And
good to be back, Karan. I think it's always a nice thing to see Devnath and Shady battle it out against each other, especially now that they have people under them as teammates. Let's see what this turns out to be because I think this has also been one of the more highly anticipated matches, Shady versus Devnath, because they both have pretty much learnt how to fly on sim and they've gotten good because of sim racing. So
amazing.
it'll
So,
be, yeah, please.
yeah, so we were delayed slightly, little bit. Apologies for that, all the viewers. There were some technical glitches, but we have sorted it out finally. And now we are straight ahead, ready to go. We have a fantastic track lined up for you, and it's going to be 5 different cameras that we are going to capture the racetrack from. So you're going to get an in-live action into the variety of parts of this track. So let's go back into the pit area immediately and start the first round out over here.
Wait. Vishal is coming in like 1 minute.
And till then, let's view the track from the many cameras that we have set up here. We have some of the gates. It looks absolutely gorgeous. We will zoom into these things. And the pilots right now are practicing.
Okay, Vishal is in. Just set him to fly.
Okay, so Vishal is in. We have been joined by Vishal. Let's change the color. Okay, he's all set.
All right, I think now we have a full party and now we can finally get going and get racing.
All right, and viewers, please give your feedback. If you're able to hear the stream clearly, give us a thumbs up. And if not, let us know if any issues. So we're going to go straight away into the action. Pilots, you need to be on your pit area. Start right now. Let's go for it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. All the pilots have taken up. We are watching through the eyes of Bangos, an excellent track that's emerging right in front of us out here. And this is one of the intermediate and advanced tracks, so to speak. It has been a little bit challenging for the pilots to practice. But when you look at it from the first-person view, you definitely see how fun it is to ride this track. And any pilot on any day, any hour would definitely love this. And, such elements are absolutely fantastic. Rathi, if we can have some of the inputs from you about this track so far, how does it look to you?
Okay, so looking at the track, obviously it looks all over the place, but there is a good rhythm to this track. I would say it's quite flowy, but there are also so many difficult elements, which, I mean, seeing the people who are on this server and who are battling it out against each other, this must seem like a rather easy map for them because they have been virtually racing for quite a while and they have had a good amount of virtual racing success, especially in the D1 races. Right now, I am seeing through the eyes of Shady FPV, and right now he just passed through the dive element. The dive element on the last sector is going to be one of the more difficult ones, and we'll see that pilots crashing over there or messing up over there. You miss one line and you have to keep retaking it, and because there's a tree and then there's a rock structure around it, it's almost I would say if you mess up once, you have to either restart it or you'll waste quite a lot of time just trying to get ahead of it.
And definitely those comments worthwhile. Thank you for that head start. And Shady and Devnath, as usual, getting in their mood. Shady completing the first round, taking the win against Devnath. Devnath just about warming up. We are swinging
Hey.
into the third person view. Let's switch our view right now to Bangos. And let's take a look at how actually Astronaut, and let's take a look at how he's chasing Bangos. Both those two players that we are tuned into are into the same team, but nevertheless, it's tough competition between those teammates as well. And such a nice flowy track, little bit of technical elements out there, and some of the jump-ins need to be done very, very accurately out here. So Shady and Devnath, Astronaut, Bangos, Logic, all of them are top pilots along with Air Toast. Air Toast is the final pilot that's remaining right now. Let's take a look at the FPV view of Astronaut. But
I mean, Airtos
oh,
already just finished.
yeah,
The
Air
race
Toast
has
already
been
finished.
completed. But look at the time between IDRL Bongos and IDRL Logic. Just 100 milliseconds off of each other. That's crazy, man.
Oh, wow. This has been the closest kind of spacing so far that we have witnessed. Bangos and Logic right up there. So that's going to affect some kind of points. Let's see. We'll have to look at the score sheet for that. So Shady wins against Devnath, and we will quickly record that into a score sheet and update that for our viewers. Viewers, welcome once again. A slightly delayed start to our proceedings this evening, but this is the big one. Whenever you have a big race coming up, you have to be absolutely sure that you don't mess up. And this is what we have done. We are all ready and set to go, and round one is now complete. We are recording right now point number one for Shady against Devnath, and Logic versus Bangos. Bangos has taken that win just over Logic. As I said, that 1 second of difference hardly between Bangos and Logic made the difference of the day. And Airtoast and Astronaut took the points out there. So in my opinion, right now, the second team, Hyderabad HellRaisers, is obviously dominating from the very start, and Devnath captain needs to have a strategy in place, Rathi, for this next round coming up.
I think Devnath can lead a team. I think for the time that I've known Devnath, he's always been like a leader. So I think the good point right now is to be motivating his team to actually do better at the places where they are lacking. I mean, again, this track is very tricky, and it is only for those who are the best of the best, because it is so hard to navigate through, and if you mess up once, you basically lose the flow of the track. And especially with the tunnels. I mean, I tried the track myself just to see what goes on, and how the race actually will happen. And seeing these things where I was messing up, and where even if I missed by maybe a small margin, I would end up crashing, and I'd have to retake the whole thing. And it's a rather very technical track, I would say, especially for any beginner to try it out. I think if you complete this within like 5 minutes, if you're a beginner, like, you know, you're going places.
Absolutely. Quick comments there from Rathi, and we will get going with our round number two out here. Pirates, get ready now. Race starting in less than 5. We are tuned into Bangos in the third person view. Let's watch him through our third person view eyes. Look at that, a beautiful view right in front of us unfolding with the pilots neck and neck with each other, and they're going through that wooden tunnelish banker out there, coming out of those two drum tunnels out there. Those are some of the very tricky elements to navigate, and then you have to take a full sort of a semicircle turn and then get into a power loop. How much of that power loop is really very tricky, Rathi? Is it safe to say it's one of the it's the probably the most difficult element out there to do right now?
It is the most difficult element to get right. If you mess up there, again, you're losing quite a lot of time. Like we just saw Devnath losing out to Shady. Sorry, Shady just crashing right now, and Devnath is ahead. But Shady's coming back. Shady is now again in the lead. Okay, that's very close racing. I think FPV feed of Shady looks really good. I mean, Devnath's as well, because you can see Shady is right ahead of him. But yes, coming up to this dive gate right now, you see that even a small percentage of error, it'll mess up. The power loop, again, it is a very hard element to get right. If you get the element right, you will gain quite a lot of ground compared to your opponent. But again, it's a risk. So either you do the perfect racing line and you get the advantage against your opponent, or you mess up and let the opponent get a bigger massive or a bigger advantage over you.
Sure enough, and we are right now seeing through the eyes of the captain of ZDR Jaipur. He is a talented one, internationally acclaimed
Yeah.
number one, Devnath, and he takes it against Shady. That was a close one. Shady following just behind Devnath out here in this one. So they equal the tie in the second round. Devnath coming in from behind as the captain that he should be playing for Team Jaipur. Let's go. Let's see through Logic's eyes now. Logic and Bangos. Logic is trying to chase Bangos at this point in time because those are head-to-head competitors, and it would be interesting to see actually where they are right now in this point in time. Let's see. We can right now tune into Bangos and Bangos
Bangos
and
just finished
Logic.
his
And
race.
Bangos has just finished his race. So that has been an absolute blockbuster of a round for Bangos. Bangos again dominates against Logic, and Air Toast wins against Astronaut. So we have kind of a revenge effect out here. Devnath, captain, saying that we got to take this points in the second round. So we scored a 1 against Shady for him. And Air Toast, also his wingman, scoring that crucial 1 point against Astronaut. Meanwhile, Bangos and Logic, Bangos was the only one to get a point for his team. So as it stands right now, we are looks like we have still some points to split over here. All right, let's see. Okay, yeah, that's one.
Eretos is Vishal Kothari. Logic is Arya. Bangos is Bangos. Shady is Aman Virani. Astronaut is Pranav. And Devnath is Devnath. For Dave Powell, who's asking us. Hello, Dave Powell. How are you doing?
Welcome,
Nice to
Dave.
see you again.
Yeah,
Is
and
he
do
a
shoot
troll
in
or
your
something?
questions. We are happy to answer them. And
Oh, I thought I was due for.
I absolutely had a thrill to watch the pilots, some of these pilots from the FPV viewpoint of view, and looking into their FPV feed is such a talented Devnath that we saw right now in the last round. It was magical to see him run through this round and race very, very quickly. So, pilots, we are getting ahead now with round number 3, back to the pit area, and the race starts now.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's tune in this time now to Shady, and one of the fastest pilots on the track right now, Shady versus his competitor, arch rival Devnath. Both of them playing internationally these days. In fact, a lot of these pilots have qualified for Masters and the Pro, and we are doing a partnership with D1 Racing Singapore. A Pro race is coming up tomorrow. For viewers, there will be an international race coming up tomorrow, 3:30 Indian Standard Time. So do not miss that one. Some of these pilots from IDRL, in fact, 7 or 8 of them have qualified throughout the Legends, Masters, and Pro distributions out here, and we have seen them accelerate and excel on the D1 IDRL tracks. So let's give them all the support that we can so that they can power through this race and build that needed confidence for the next one. Rati, tomorrow is coming up, a first-time international race for some of these pros. How should they be prepared actually for tomorrow's race?
I think Vishal, Devnath, Aman, they've all, I mean, even Bangos for that matter of fact, they've all had international racing taste, except for Arya and Vishal. But I think there are only going to be a few people who have qualified for these races.
Dude, my TX disconnected.
Okay, Devnath calling in with an issue saying that his TX is disconnected, so I think he should be reconnecting and flying again. But safe to say, I think he has lost this round because of that minor issue. Yes, coming back to the international racing, I think it's a little nerve-wracking, but nonetheless, it's always it's always very good exposure for us. Like I think last year we went to Malaysia
Dude,
for attending
What
the
did you
Asia
do?
Drone.
I
my
thought you were
TX got
doing it.
disconnected, dude, in the middle
Yeah,
of the race.
you were like there.
I know.
I like gave up. I
I
stopped.
If you can mute yourselves. Uh,
All right, so we are still following. The race is still going on. Let's see who is where right now. Bangos is in the middle out there. We are following him. Logic has completed as well. Air Toast is the last one to complete. It wouldn't matter at what time he completes, but it would definitely be worthwhile to see him burst through this track. It's been a pleasure to see Air Toast as well. Air Toast, also called as Vishal, that was answered by Rathi to Dave Powell. So, welcome again, viewers who are just joining us online. We are absolutely thrilled to have you in the middle of this amazing race that's happening. The encounter that we have been waiting for since a very long time. It was delayed by a week or so. The we had to shuffle some of these other players, but now we are on. So round number 3 has just completed, and we are going to mark them accordingly. Shady wins against Devnath this time, so it's going to be again Shady taking up 1 point. This is going to be Oh yeah, and look at the scoreboard right now. It's 7-2, and the Hyderabad HellRaisers are really raising hell right now out of ZDR. It's going to be tough moving forward. No points scored in this round number 3 for ZDR. So the captain and the wingman needs to strategize very, very quickly if they have to take on some of the points over here to get closer to Hyderabad HellRaisers as a team until round number 10. 2 more rounds remaining till intermission for round number 5. But let's get going right into inaudible Rathi. Okay, right now did it switch off? Okay, maybe okay, got it. Now it should be turning on. Okay.
uh, Guys in the stream, give me a thumbs up or just give me a shout out if you can hear me.
All right, so I request the other pilots to not speak up because it's going into the music feed. That's why I had muted it. Let Rathi only speak at this point in time.
I think you can mute them as well. I think they should just be hearing our inputs, right?
Okay.
So I think the pilots can mute themselves. So we'll have this one. So we'll have a better feed.
Just tell current to mute us so we can talk amongst ourselves.
Alright, alright.
All
I
right.
clicked on the
So
name.
just muting all the pilots out here.
Just mute me and Devnath. No one else is.
No one else is really talking, yeah.
Okay, Devnath is muted
And
and
my voice is
Shady.
also coming. Okay, fine. They say that they can hear me again. I think we are sending my voice through Discord, so
Okay, cool.
bless you.
Thanks a lot for that feedback loop, viewers. It's very, very important for us to bring a very, very good stream for you. And can hear you, Rati, but too loud. Can you adjust your mic volume? Okay, we'll bring the mic volume a little bit down over here. Rati, can you speak now? So that
Hey guys, what's up? I hope you guys can hear me properly.
And yeah, we have lowered his volume, so let us know on the feedback for Rati's volume. All right,
Devnath, you're
guys.
going the wrong way, mate.
All right, guys. Let's now get started with round number 4. Let's jump right into it. Race starting in less than 5. And this time we have to see which one to follow. We'll follow Shady to get started with. Right in front of him, you see is Devnath. both of these pilots are going neck and neck. And Shady is probably a second in this point in time. He has, oh no, Shady is actually pretty behind he was, and now he's climbing up right to the top, right behind Devnath. So Devnath
I
is the
think
only
Aman
pilot.
did have a crash,
Yeah, and
and so did Devnath. Devnath, again, something happened to his feet.
right. And that's Shady, and Shady is number one pilot on the racetrack at the moment, followed by Devnath. Let's switch over to some of the other pilots' FPV view feeds. And Bangos right now is claiming position number 6. So we need to tune into Devnath out here. Let's see. But look at that.
Devnath is
Yeah.
actually having a horrible race because he's been crashing on quite a few of the gates right now.
And in fact, Logic has been holding his nerve very tight out here. And Logic is placed second at this point in time. So it would actually, let's see how this helps the teams to get back some of their points. But as I see it right now, only 1 point would be taken up by Hyderabad HellRaisers if it was to be this ranking to be maintained, and 2 points for the other one. But ZDR definitely needs to play harder out here. All their teammates need to score together in this consecutive rounds if they have to get back into this race.
I think it looks a little impossible for Devnath to get ahead of Shady in this round at least. But he'll be happy to know that the other two of his teammates have gotten back in form, and they've actually overtaken the other two racers from the Hyderabad team and are actually going to score the 2 points that is required to actually keep them in contention. Otherwise, we could have seen a very early lapse of the race.
Right. So Devnath is just about to complete his part of the thing. He is at position number 2. He loses against Shady. Shady picks up that point again for his team. Oh, and now look at that. In fact, Air Toast is dropping by. Bangos has really taken and moved ahead of Air Toast. So that's again a disappointment for Team ZDR. That's not what they expected at this point in time.
I think Arya did qualify ahead of Bangos, so I think Arya will get the point. So we'll see that there will be 2 points awarded to SDR, while only 1 point is awarded to the Hyderabad team.
So Shady won against Devnath, correct? And then we have. Can you just read out that order over there? Devnath against Shady, and then Logic against Bangos. So Logic won against Bangos, correct? Right. And then we have Air Toast. Let's see what Air Toast was. Air Toast won against Astronaut. So Air Toast gets 1 point. Okay, so that's good enough actually for ZDR. They are now about 4 points behind. They reduced the gap by 5 points. They were at 5 points difference. Now they are at only 4 points of a difference. So they're getting back into the game. And let's see what happens in this round just before intermission, round number 5, after which we'll be getting into a 2 or 3 minute break and coming back to round number 6. But
yeah,
right.
I'm in there.
All right, so pilots, get ready on the podium. The race is starting now. And let's tune into Devnath straight away through his FPV feed. Last time we did Shady, and right now we want to see the curves and the lines of Devnath. Look at that. The track is really, really well formed. It's, nobody can really complain about it. It's very gorgeous to look at. And also, if you practice hard enough, you will eventually get it. But it's just a little bit tricky, some of those power loops. Look at that. But once you get them right, initially you will get stuck. Even pilots like Devnath are getting stuck in that power loop. So it's really the flow that you have to maintain if you have to keep going through all of the gates. And there are about 51 gates on this track. It's a long it's not a long track per se in terms of the time, but it's many gates, and also those cylinders, the yellow cylindrical shapes that you see. The pilots have to dive into them after maintaining quite a good speed, so that becomes a little bit of a break and flow kind of a challenge for the pilots. So it is a kind of a real you know. It's a quiz. It's it's a puzzle as to what kind of a track really suits every pilot. So I hope most of the pilots are able to do this in least amount of crashes. But we have seen them improve also for over the rounds that have been played so far.
So exactly, we've seen them improve, and I can see that Air Toast is falling back on the order. He's taking vital lines, and he's not taking the ideal lines that he's supposed to. And again, the thing you said about the yellow gates, the yellow tube gates,
Yeah.
it is rather very difficult. As you can see, I think if we switch to Vishal's feed, he is finding that part of the track very difficult, and he keeps crashing over there, and because of which it's losing him a crazy amount of time. Again, this track is very technical, and this is meant for people like Aman and Devnath to race on, because it actually shows us the amount of skill difference that they have, and it's so minute. Their skill difference is so minute, but I think just about now we can see that Aman is leading against Devnath, and this track is a little bit better for Aman than it is turning out to be for Devnath.
All right, so 4 pilots have completed. We have now just about only Air Toast remaining, an astronaut. So Air Toast will take this. There's no question about it. He's way ahead of astronaut at this point in time. So again, Shady picks that win over Devnath. So it's a little bit debilitating at this point in time for the captain of ZDR, and he has to recover quickly. He has to lead from the front. All right, so okay, who is speaking? Okay, please do not speak, pilots. We are in the race right now. All right, so we have the final display of the boards over here, and that is Shady takes the win against Devnath, and then we have Bangos taking on the win against Logic. So 2 points there, and then Air Toast taking that 1 point for his captain for ZDR. So at intermission, we have exactly 5 points of difference. The Hyderabad HellRaisers are at 10 points, and Zine Racing are 5 points behind. If they have to make it up, they have to really lead it. All their pilots have to score a back-to-back win out here on the remainder of the rounds. But let's take a break for about 3 to 4 minutes. Maybe all of you can just take a little bit of a breather and get some soda and some of your popcorn tubs and things like that, so that we can get an entertainer for the rest of the night. And we will start some of the music playing here also. That will ease out the tension that pilots are feeling on the track. So let's play some music for you right now. All right, so we have just started the music. If the viewers can just give us quick feedback if we are audible with the music, and if the volume needs to be adjusted at all, please let us know as well.
Yeah. So, I think, they're being getting
Okay, it's too low.
Yeah.
Heavy background
I
noise
don't
intense.
understand why you.
What's the issue? The music is too loud? Okay, how about now? Can you hear the music? Is it soft enough?
Karan, let's just start the feats. Dude,
Okay.
I'm telling him, okay, let us clean sweep, and you still have to race to the last. How much all you have to do is go back and play.
All right, it's too low, barely
Freaking.
audible. Let's see, let's increase the volume.
Yes.
All right, this should be fine.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
go
okay.
ahead.
Take
Let's
it.
go ahead
This is more
with
important.
the rounds now.
Arya, what are you doing? Yeah, you are last position, so even if you race, it doesn't matter.
Okay, let's go, pilots, on the podium, and the race starts in less than 5 out here. There you go. We are starting to see some more fluid action coming up for you in round number 6. Expecting that from the pilots. Their quads should be a little bit more tuned, and they themselves should be perfecting their lines. You know, that huge tunnel out there is such an interesting one to watch, especially through the FPV view.
Both ahead of Bungos and Astronaut. Shady again battling it out with Devnath. Shady just getting the edge on Devnath.
Oh yeah, they are competing neck and neck. Look at that. Gates shifting just by 1 gate of a difference between them. They always do that, and especially it happens when they have both gotten a hold of racing tightly against each other. So they almost synchronize, like they are on the same team, but they actually are playing for the opponent team. So
I think if these guys were clubbed together, there would be no challenge for anyone. Devnath just messing up his lines a little bit over there. Sadly enough, he gave quite a long lead to Aman, and now Aman's going to make the most of it, and he's going to score points for his team.
wow, that's yeah.
Whereas you can see that Bungos and Astronaut both are suffering, and they are a step behind. Bungos just overtaking Air Toast. That's always a looker.
Awesome. So Shady about increasing his difference now against Devnath, and it's more than a difference encountering Devnath literally falling behind unless he has some way of coming over Shady at this point in time. But his teammate Logic is doing pretty well against Bungos. He seems to have a lead against Bungos, so that should not be much of a worry to the captain. Because Logic is holding Bungos, but Bungos, as we know him, can come back from behind, and he did it in several rounds. We witnessed him. And also Air Toast is holding on Astronaut. So Air Toast is an obvious winner out there, and we know that Astronaut had some issues with his laptop or internet connection out there, so maybe he's racing slow because of that. But look at those cylindrical dives, and that's the toughest one to get. You know, that single bark kind of a cylindrical tunnel that you have to go through vertically after so much of a speed. Even pilots like Bungos, who are very well trained, they are messing up. So right now, who is the pilot that's remaining is Astronaut and Air Toast. So let's tune into Air Toast. Air Toast is towards also his last part of the thing, and he has also completed his race. So the only one remaining is Astronaut, and we'll just take view of him from a third person view, so that we can again see the nuances of this track. All the pilots in the meantime getting ready for the next round. We will score the points now for ZDR and Hyderabad HellRaisers. It's Shady against Devnath. Shady again took the point for his team. He has just lost 1 point to the rival captain Devnath. So Devnath really needs to go harder on this one now. And Logic, meanwhile, has been sustaining pretty well. But although he has just scored 2 points, Air Toast has been the most point scoring a pilot for ZDR, and that's how it shows right now. We have 11-7, and it's still a 4-point game, Rathi. Anything can happen, right? I mean, till round number 10, because we have three crucial points to take in that last round.
I think this might be one of the first rounds that the last round actually comes into play.
Right. It's going to be a close one. I definitely feel it because these two teams, and I know from the talent that ZDR team has, they are just about getting into their fifth gear, so to speak. So it's going to be the last 4 rounds coming up, and they have to do all the damage they can to the Hyderabad HellRaisers if they have to take this game away from them. So let's go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start the race because I think Shady is proving to be a bit of a pain.
Yeah. Truly agree. And let's right now tune into Bangos. We can take a look as to how Bangos climbs the ladder. He's the one who stays a little bit behind in the first 2 laps, and then he really strikes back. So Logic has to be a little bit aware. Logic has to conserve his energy. Logic has to be super attentive, not really lose his focus, and give any kind of a leeway to Bangos to pick over him.
I think Devnath is proving his worth as a captain right now, just keeping Shady behind him, but Shady just manages to pass him as well. It's very neck and neck. I think their FPV feed has to be one of the most interesting FPV feeds we can see at the moment. Talking about pilots like Bangos, I think he has bought one back and he is giving a huge competition to Airtos, who is lagging behind by quite a bit. I think in the chat, I think we saw Devnath saying all 3 points in this round will be ours. But I think the converse is happening. The inverse is happening, and you can see that the Hyderabad HellRaisers are getting all these 3 points.
Oh yeah, I mean, so we are still kind of in the middle of this game. Shady has just Shady and Devnath into lap number 3, obviously, but the rest of the group out there, anything can happen. Look at that; they are moving up and down out there. Bangos at position 3, Air Toast at position 4. They are following each other quite closely at this point in time. So we are hoping. Look at that competition between Air Toast and Astronaut. Astronaut coming back from behind. Can he take it? He hasn't given much of a competition to Air Toast so far, but this time he looks very determined to take over from Air Toast.
Sadly enough, Air Toast just missed a gate, and because of which he will be losing out to Air Toast.
Oh yeah, that was a disappointment. We cover on with Air Toast at this point. Let's see where he is. He is circling that semi-circle and then getting into that fine horizontal kind of a loop into the cylindrical section. And Air Toast we see right now. So Shady has taken the win against Devnath quite comfortably, about 9 seconds of difference between them. Shady again proving to be,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the stats don't lie, and surprisingly, I think Aman being team captain actually is carrying his team. I would say he is scoring points consistently, and I've always told this on streams: a person who can score points consistently is going to make his team win, and I think Shady is going to do the same for his team. And being a team captain, it means all the more. It makes more sense. I mean, it makes. I think it gives more meaning to it, I would say.
Right, so this round has given a chance for the Hyderabad HellRaisers to increase their point difference by 1 point. That allows them to maintain a 5-point lead over ZDR Racing Jaipur. And ZDR just has about 3 more rounds. The third one obviously is going to really be a kicker out here. If they can grab that 3 point, and it really is going to fall all upon Devnath to capture those 3 points for Team ZDR if they have to really make it. So pilots, let's get on with this next round and let's get onto the podium. The race is starting in less than 5.
And we see that the pilots have taken off.
Yep, we're seeing it.
Devnath is trying to.
Now watching through the eyes of Shady.
One second. Um, I think Karan, we have to restart. Yeah. Wait. Karan, we have to restart this race because a few different people are joining this
Okay.
server, and it's obviously something that we don't want. So can we please have is FPV kicked, and can we lock the server and restart this race, please?
Okay, sure. So
So
I'm
I
just
think
going to. Yeah, the
this was
server
whose
the
number,
server is actually locked. I don't know why people are joining in.
or who is this FPV and why have they joined?
Oh wait, it was not locked. I'm sorry. So I'm going to kick off some of these other people, and pilots will have to restart this race. So just is has been kicked out. It was fine. So we are locking the gates for them right now. Okay, cool. So we are all set, pilots. Now we will restart this race
Restart.
in
Yes.
less than 5.
Yeah. So we're joining them. Okay, guys.
So round number 8 is restarting because somebody joined in between, and we are now seeing that Devnath is right ahead of Shady at this point. Let's see through the 3D view what's happening out here. Look at that, fantastic views coming in, and we're just waiting for those pilots. Look at that coming in through those wooden structures out there. Beautiful. It's a beautiful sight to watch. Lots of trees, lots of stones, rocks out here, and it looks a very, very rocky terrain. There is
I
a
think
yeah.
a rocky terrain is becoming a theme for the IDRL. Since we had even the Bangalore Buzzers versus Uttar Punjab race in a
Yeah,
similar condition, so did we have the Kaliga Crackers versus Uttar Punjab.
right.
So,
So
Karan, if you were to bet on a team to represent India, I mean, any of these stay-at-home series teams to represent India, which team would you pick? I'm
well,
putting you on a tough spot right now, so
I know. I
careful with
mean,
your
I don't
answer.
want to be biased. I mean, it really depends upon the team composition. The pilots are eventually responsible. And I've seen some of the best pilots crumble under pressure a lot of times. So, at times, sometimes I feel, even the Bangalore Buzzers can do pretty well. But given the overall performance, I've been impressed with UDP, Krakens. All of them have been so very compelling. I mean, they have lost out on a few gates here and there and not been up to the point. But when you look at that overall game, the motivation that they have and keep fighting back, that's the kind of play that we want. So we are seeing again the similar kind of competition here, and right now fresh in my memory. So I would just kind of go with probably the Hyderabad HellRaisers. I think they're doing pretty well, and even though Astronaut seems to be a little bit disconnected in terms of scoring points, it's mostly because of his internet connection. But that team that's raising hell is really the Hyderabad HellRaisers. What do you think, Rathi? What's your favorite pick out here?
I wouldn't comment until I see all the racers, I mean all the teams perform. And for some reason, I just saw that Devnath almost got it back for his team, and he, yeah, pretty much Vishal is carrying the team. Vishal is carrying the team ZDR. But talking about Devnath, I think as soon as you saw Shady pass Devnath, uh, even by looking a little left, I saw Shady just passing Devnath, and as soon as that happened, Devnath started crashing. I saw this trend continue throughout the race.
Super. So all the pilots have completed the final scorecard as we see it. Should look like Shady is on top of Devnath here, beating him 1.20 again consecutively. He only lost to Devnath once in round number 2. So Shady has won again. Bangos has won against Logic, increasing the point difference, and Air Toast is the only one to score it for ZDR. So ZDR is at 9, and then Hyderabad Hellraisers are at 15. So it's a 6 point game now. The only chance that ZDR has now, if they pick up the win, all 3 points in round number 9, and they also have to pick up the 3 points in round number 10. So there is no losing chance that's possible for ZDR if they have to actually uh, level this race because at current standing they would only be able to get 6 points, and that would get them to 15 all head to head against the Hyderabad HellRaisers.
So in a case or in an event where all the teams are at a tie, one second, guys. Someone got. Uh, we're just getting the news that Airtoast is not on the server,
He's
so
not on the server.
we shall be taking. I mean, a small.
Yeah. After 30 seconds, a 2-minute timer will start for Airtoast. He has to get back into the server at that point in time. That's the rule that we have implemented. Otherwise, we go without him. Again, losing Airtoast at such a crucial juncture is not something that Team ZDR desired. So they have to really back Airtoast. Airtoast is the one that's really scoring the points, and he is back. He just needs to
Airtoast
change
is back.
color. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Airtoast. Do change your color. And he's back on time. So let's go ahead and start the next round now, the crucial one, round number 9 coming up just before round number 10. We will tune into the eyes of Airtoast, or rather Shady, and Shady is the fastest pilot so far by a great margin. Just ahead of him, Devnath seems to really take off that podium really fast ahead of Shady, but still Shady manages to really dominate it from behind. What's the reason for that, Rati? I mean, Devnath really picks on the first one to get off the podium.
I think you can see their stick overlays. I think Devnath has already throttled up, put a little bit of his pitch down, and you see that as soon as the race says go, he is already pitched up and ready to go, and he just takes off from the start line, and he leaves pretty much everyone behind him to eat his dust, I would say. Uh, so I think we see that Shady might have crashed in one of these gates here. I think Devnath has a very good chance of winning.
Oh, Devnath is looking really good. He is on a mission here, and he has to really win it. And so do Logic and Airtoast if they have to stay in the loop for the competition win. Right now, it looks like the pilots from Hyderabad HellRaisers are competing against themselves. Look at that, such a tight race between Bungos and Astronaut of the same team. You know,
That is up, even if Devnath does all the work for his team, if his teammates don't pick up his pieces, I think it's almost game over for ZDR. I think even if one of them manages to not score a point, it is going to be very disappointing for the team captain Devnath, who's actually putting so much effort to being so consistent when it comes to these laps.
Oh yeah, and that would be a shame, you know, like these pilots. I mean, ZDR, I did expect a lot better from them. I mean, somehow, somewhere things went wrong for them. I mean, I don't know why, what's happening. I mean, Devnath has still picked up that win, but it looks really, really difficult now for Airtoast and Logic to complete that because Bungos is not leaving that podium now anytime soon. And he's going to pick up that win at the finish gate against Logic.
I think I would. I mean, it's safe to say. I think this is one of the closest races we've had. I think the playing field on this, at least in between these two teams, was so close and so level. So we see that a lot of we see that maybe I think Airtos and Logic did let down their team in this round, and even if Airtos was scoring consistent points, I don't think he did score where it did actually matter, and because of which, because of their mistakes, I think even if Devnath did score in this round, I think it's not going to do it for them. I think ZDR has lost to Hyderabad.
Oh yeah, and let's see. Even though I mean the round number 10 is always interesting to watch, it's something that pilots give their best at. So let's pick up round number 9, the points, and Devnath is at. Yeah, he does well against Shady, so he picks up the win out there, and Bungos wins against. Yeah, Bungos and Astronaut pick up the other 2 points. So it's really a no-brainer here that no matter what, Hyderabad HellRaisers have secured those crucial 2 points in the series for themselves, while ZDR will need to do some kind of re-strategizing, grouping together after this game. But nevertheless, let's pick up on the last round to go, and this time we are hoping that the 3 points, in fact, go to ZDR so that we finish up with 17 is to 3. So let's get started now, pilots.
So hopefully Devnath does get it, so he doesn't lose with quite the margin that they are losing in.
Oh
Hopefully he
yeah.
can close the gap, and I think this is still going to be one of the closest races that we've had.
Oh yeah, and it's a confidence booster too. Like like if you lose half the points, like right now, if let's say Hyderabad picks up the 3 points, it's actually 20 is to 10 game. But if ZDR picks up the game, it's 17 is to 3. So that kind of creates a psychological difference coming into the next game. So I'm really hoping that Devnath stays where he is right now, even though Shady is really picking on him from behind. But
Shady just had a crash, so Shady had another crash, and it's looking up for Devnath. Devnath actually might get the 3 points that he needs for his team. It'll be a very close finishing round, but of course, sadly enough, Team ZDR is already losing. I think we had our hearts in our mouth up till the round number 9, where Devnath did actually score points for his team, and then we just saw that his teammates didn't perform in the one round that they needed to perform, but like they were performing consistently otherwise. And I think Devnath could be very happy with his team's performance.
yeah, and it's again, as I've been saying, it's beautiful to watch Devnath, especially when he does that wooden bridge tunnel out there. Look at that. He'll go into that wooden bridge. Look at that. How gorgeous it looks into those cylindrical cones coming down into that split S and then around those gates. And also this power looping that he does.
I
Fantastic pilot.
think again, I did say it in the start of the stream, this power loop is a hit or miss, and we've seen that Shady does take a very conservative effort towards this power loop, and seeing in this round, Devnath just won the first place, and taking the risk actually proved pretty much valid for him. I did see that Devnath was losing out on a few crucial turns.
So do you think
And
Devnath was holding back a little bit? He should have really fired it on from, the go start here, round number 1, or at least from round number 5, when there was a real chance for them to get it back into the game.
the strategy, I mean, Devnath and Law were racing pretty much neck to neck. So we have news that Air Toast has disconnected. I mean, not that it matters, but
Right.
I think this race is done for because Air Toast has disconnected from the server.
Right.
I think it's a clear win to the Hellraisers Hyderabad.
Oh, so congratulations, HellRaisers Hyderabad. But before that, we scored 3 points. And look at the final scoreboard that's in front of you. The game finishes with ZDR scoring 13 points, just 4 points short of Hyderabad HellRaisers. If they were a little bit closer in round number 8 and 9, they would have had a real chance to strike gold out here in this episode number 4. But nevertheless, they need some re-strategizing. They have some easier games coming up for them, so they should be good in this season. And we are expecting them to definitely qualify into the knockouts. But we do have some interesting races also coming up and some close fights. So the next one, we'll have to see what's the next one that's lined up for us out here. The next Saturday is going to be between the Bombay Brigadiers and the Bangalore Buzzers. So that's going to be interesting. That's Mumbai versus Bangalore. That's always a fun race to watch. So do join us on the 11th of July. That's going to be 7 days next week's next Saturday, Saturday night live at 9:30 p.m. And we will make sure that this time we do start at 9:30 p.m. Again, apologize for the delay. We were shifting in between our Linux and Windows setups, but right now we have figured everything out, and Windows seems to be the way to go out. So Rati will just kind of take some commentary feedbacks from some of these pilots, our captains, the usual, what happened there, and they might give us some insight into their game.
I think they're definitely here, but if you can check the channel there as well. If you could rechannel their voice.
Okay.
Devnath, I mean, the stream, can you guys hear Devnath? Alright. No, I'm asking the stream if they can hear you. So.
No, I'm just unmuting them right
Interviews?
now. Yeah.
Please do.
All right. So here
Let
we
me
are.
trash on you there, man. Stop this shit.
I think Aman's getting back to his toxic nature.
Oh, you
that
haven't
he
seen
learned
me
from-
toxic. You haven't seen
that
me
he had
toxic.
learned from CS:GO. I don't
Yeah.
want to see the toxic side of his either. But yeah, I think safe to say Shady does get bragging rights when it comes to this race.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it
Devnath,
wasn't hard, so.
Devnath, what exactly went wrong with your team, and why do you think you lost?
There's no reason for losing. I was just slower than Shady didn't practice enough, and TX disconnected in the middle, so I lost a point there.
Oh, yeah.
And
That was totally us.
yes, that was yeah. So technical combined with not practicing.
Alright. What about you, Shady? What went right for your team?
Oh, nothing. He's just bad.
Oh, so you're saying that if you were to compete with someone else, you'd probably get your ass kicked?
Yeah.
Damn, man. Like Devnath, I think it's time for you
That's
to
bloody. I
post
bet
back
you'd beat
Bangladesh.
me, but not me.
Yeah. That's the only reason why I am not racing. You know, like I'm way too good.
You're
So
just too good. It'll be all
yeah,
one-sided.
It'll be very one-sided. Like I'll take all the 3 points, all like the whole of
Exactly.
my team.
You like lap everyone 3
I'll lap
times,
everyone.
comes
Yeah,
first,
exactly.
second, third.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just come first, second, third for the respective rounds. Instead of crazy lap times, I think I don't want to show off my skills, so I'll keep it into commentary. That also I can't really do properly. So yeah, Devnath, what did you think of the track?
Yeah, the track was pretty good. I really liked the track. There was a small delay, the track being set up at the end, but yeah, the track was very nice. I think one of the better tracks this season.
So Shady, what did you find as the toughest element on the track?
The dive tunnel for sure. In
Oh,
the end, before that.
I
Because,
thought
like,
nothing was difficult for you, man. This
let's be honest here. You
Come
saw me
on,
crash.
man. I didn't think you were human. I'm just disappointed. I thought you would have bought all this while, man.
Oh, you. Okay.
So guys, what's the game plan moving forward here? Starting with you, Devnath. It looks like some kind of re-strategizing needs to happen on your team part.
Yeah, people need to practice a lot more, including the captain. So yeah, for the next races, hopefully we'll be free from the D1 racing schedule as well, and put more time on the SAH tracks. We have been me and Shady. We race as a team on international races. So we have races every week. So we are torn between SAH and D1 racing.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully in the next match we'll get more time to put on the track and yeah, give a better performance as a team.
So what about your strategy, Shady? What is your strategy going to be going into?
Yeah, same. We need to practice way more because for sure, Devnath could have done way better. Even I could have done better. We would have set even faster times if we had more.
The practice did show because of the way. I mean, I think the faster line obviously for the I would say the power loop gate was to do a power loop, whereas we saw you taking a very
Oh, really?
conservative approach.
Did he take me over there?
Yes, he did overtake you
Oh.
about like a few times over there. Just
Damn.
because you were a little bit slower, maybe a millisecond or two slower.
Yeah, no,
you
because of
just
all the
got
extra turns I have to do, I have to be slow.
Exactly. So, what do you think? Would practice make you figure those lines
Yeah,
out
if I
better?
had more practice, it wasn't about figuring out. It's like I need to do harder lines more consistently, which requires practice. And
So,
if I
you
don't
say
have enough
Devnath
practice,
is more consistent than you.
well, you be the judge of that by the score.
I mean, looking at it, Devnath did have more crashes, but he was taking the same, sort of the same lines for the
He had
difficult
a
parts of the
faster
track.
chord.
Yes.
He had a faster forward is right. I think the viewers who don't know what you're talking about, we did have a straight line race. I would say it was a very simple race in which we just saw Devnath pretty much smoking Aman before the actual heats, and I think that got into Devnath's head a little bit, and
Yeah.
Devnath underestimated Shady. Do you think that is the case, Devnath?
Yeah, they've not.
No, no. No, like one match is too low of a sample size to determine consistency. So we should probably wait for the upcoming match.
Yeah.
Okay. What about these matches? I think a sample size of 10 races should have actually put your data. I mean, should have given you enough of data to plot your graphs and put up your analytics in place.
Yeah, but we have different tracks, like 10 races, different tracks, not the same track.
But I mean, going by your lines and the places where you're crashing, you can say that these were 10 different tracks for you.
No, I cannot say that.
Okay then. What about you, Shady?
What?
What
Wait.
plans of? Oh, you didn't even ask about the question. What about you? Does analytics matter for you as much?
I mean, yeah, you have to. I mean,
What?
see, after trying like DRL tracks, where
Yeah.
you have to like literally look at the track for so long to realize what line you have to take, analytics
Right.
definitely matters.
Yep, I think I can speak for like me and Shady both when we say like
Yeah.
our racing has been influenced a lot by the lines, the months we practice for DRL tryouts. So in DRL tryouts, we had to take super tight lines. So that has bleeded over into the Velocidrone racing philosophy as well. So we fly in a much tighter and faster way as well. So I think that's why we're ahead.
I think this also influences your in real life flying because
Yes,
we've
yes.
seen that Shady basically came out of nowhere, just started coming in podium places, and
Yeah.
Devnath again. A complete surprise for us was when you started racing. Uh, your first race, you came third place. You came in the podium, IIT Gandhinagar. And from then on, I think you've always been pushing people to go towards sim more than anything else.
Yep.
Yeah, sim
I
is the best way.
yes.
Some
I
might
practice.
argue it's not, but they're dumb. So
Yeah, sim is the best way. I practiced 160 hours on sim before attending a real life race. So yeah.
oh
Okay,
wow.
that's actually too much. So any last words, Karan? Anyone you want to shout out or something like that?
I think we just look forward into the series. Those viewers who haven't taken a look at the table, that we have an entire series coming up right till October 3rd. That we have matches lined up. The next one for ZDR is against the Krakens. So, quick word about the Krakens, Devnath. What do you think is going to be happening in that next game?
Krakens, they're gonna lose. there's it's
I think
unless no. I think Debata is a very capable pilot, and if he pushes his team to race as well, obviously Oni FPV is very good, and he has a chance of beating some of our members. But yeah, he really has to push his team, and I also have to push my team and not get too cocky about it. But I think we have a very good chance against KK.
Against who?
Krakens.
Krakens.
And
Ah, you're gonna smoke them.
yeah, and
Shady coming in as the top
we remember a lot of viewers shouting out Dabata, Dabata last time. And do you think that's going to happen
Nice.
against you, or is it going to be Devnath? Devnath, it's going to be a
You're
little
gonna be
tricky.
disappointed.
I
sure
think
there is a fan following of Devnath.
yeah,
They
Debata has
really like
paid
Devnath.
paid his Deba. I've received intelligence that Debata has paid his volunteers with pizza
Wow.
and drinks. So yeah, they're not going to be chanting my name for sure.
Okay, so I think Devata just got exposed here. If Devata is listening or anybody, oh wait, obviously Devata has no fans. He has to pay them to be here. So nobody's pretty much listening here. If this clip does find its way to Devata, you've been exposed. Yeah, you've just been exposed, man. That's so sad. What is this?
All right, and
All right, guys. Let's just
wait,
end this
last word
on this
from
note.
Hyderabad captain. Your next race against UDP, Udta Punjab. Uh, I think it's going to be an easy one for you, according to anything
Yeah,
special.
Yuri who?
Okay, but they definitely would be practicing really hard to compete against you. They
Yeah.
have done pretty well. They haven't really scored off this so far matches. They lost to both Bangalore Buzzers and the Krakens, but they are getting back in fire. So watch out, Team Hyderabad, for the next one. And the knockout stage, for your information,
I
is
think Rex FPV and okay, please continue.
Oh, I was just saying that the knockout stages begin right on our Independence Day, 15th August. So that's going to be a great one. The first 15th August knockout game is going to be the first place of Group A and second place of Group B. So we'll be putting up a quick chart for those viewers on FB and some of our social handles in a very neat way so that you can understand what's going on and what's the total point score so far. And also we have a pilot career ranking and team stats, which are debatas that are earned for each pilot and team. So we'll have a look at that as well through our posts. So stay tuned to some of the posts that are coming up, as well as the recording of this particular video on our F social channels. And so just a quick covering of the races so far. The Bombay Brigadiers have 2 points so far. They won against the Krakens. Bangalore Buzzers have 2 points as well against UDP. They won, and Krakens won against UDP. So Krakens have 2 points. So Bangalore Buzzers, Bombay Brigadiers, and the Kalinga Krakens, each of them have 2 points. And now ZDR has 0, but Hyderabad has scored the 2 points. So these points are going to be crucial if they have to get to the knockout stage, and we are awaiting who gets there for the round of 8 from these people. All right, so that's what we have. Any closing comments from Rati? If you have any tips to share for viewers, your fans out there, maybe you can say a few words, or we can just go ahead with the closing words.
I mean, again, there are a lot of people who have joined in right now, and they're all making fun of the plaster that's in my hand because, I had a cycling incident where I kind of fell face front, and I have severely damaged this hand. It's my left hand, guys. Come on. All right. And I have scrapes on my right hand as well. It's then the left hand, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, guys, stop it, please. Nothing else, man.
Well,
I would
with
like
the
to add
lighting
nothing
in the
else.
background, it really looks like the color of your hand, so you don't have to worry, and you don't have to show your hand on the video stream. But anyways, thank you so much,
I'll
guys.
pass this from like, yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Love you guys as always.
And tomorrow, do tune in. We have another race coming up, international one. We have partnered with D1 Racing Singapore. So our D1 Cross IDRL Pro pilots are going to compete. Total, is it 8 pilots? Correct? No, 5 pilots are going to compete in the pro race tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And we are going to stream it right through our IDRL Facebook and YouTube channels once again. So do join us tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. IST, and also do subscribe to our partners from Singapore, D1 Racing. You can search for them and look up their YouTube and Facebook and subscribe to them, because they'll be also sharing this particular race. But we had a lot of fun today. The race really lived up to its expectations. Finally, the score was 17-13. The game could have tilted anyway, and it was really good to see that the better team came out on top today. We would like to close this feed with a big thank you to our sponsors: One Martian Way, Indian Robotics Community, GetTBS.in, which has been our primary sponsor, quadcopters.com, and Zine Drone Racing, which has done a fantastic job at the live stream again. To our viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Always your comments and support have helped us a lot. If you are a new pilot interested to join IDRL, do go to droneracingindia.com and register, or just download the IDRL app from the app stores. And we will see you next tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Me and Rathi will be there once again. So do join us with our IDRL Pro pilots. taking on Asia's best drone racing pilots. For now, it's a closure from the IDRL theater out here, from the Mumbai studios, and we wish you a very good night and sweet dreams. Thank you so much, guys. Good night and alvida. Thank you.